After 2 hours, is the cat dead or alive? You don't know. How do you know whether the cat is dead or alive? Well, you open the box. Now imagine that you open the box and the cat is dead. When did the cat die? For you, the cat died on the moment that you opened the box. All the rest is imagination and calculation. You know, then you have these guys that start calculating, the cat has died probably 30 minutes ago. Bullshit, it's just imagination. I mean, you give some measurement, you say this is what we call a meter, and now from here to there is 10 meters. Well, I call this a meter, and then from here to there it's 40 meters, right? And I'm equally right, just as much as you are. The only thing that is reality, the quantum mechanics says, is on the moment that you see the cat that is dead, that means that the cat is dead for you right now. Now you're going to tell me most probably, yeah, but I go back to my tree. That tree is always there. And if I hit it, I feel it. So it is hard. It is not my imagination that creates that tree. Wrong again. Wrong again. There are people that can train you not to feel when you hit the tree. There's a famous Dutch guy, he became a politician afterwards, that had a workshop, and I guarantee you that 50 to 60% of all Dutch managers have paid loads of money to do that workshop. Whenever I do a workshop in Holland, I dare to ask them. And very much ashamed there, one raises his finger, and at the end of the day you get to 50, 60%. You know what this guy did? He was very popular. He went to all student parties, he was all over the country. He got everybody to walk barefoot over hot coal without burning their feet. Not without feeling that you burn your feet, without burning your feet. Okay? You catch what I say? So not that you don't feel it, you just don't burn them. So you look and there's nothing. Your feet are not burned. And you've walked over hot coal. Workshop was 400 or 500 euros. You know, the guy is quite rich by now. Since all fools wanted to go there, since they don't believe quantum mechanics, so they say, that's impossible, that's impossible. They all went there, and it's possible. It's the essence of quantum mechanics themselves. If you believe that you're not going to burn your feet, you are not going to burn your feet. And the only thing he does, he's going to train you mentally to believe that yourself. That's all what he's doing. Takes 1 hour, huh? He trains you 1 hour, the workshop takes half a day. Takes you 1 hour, he trains you 1 hour, basically to convince yourself that when you walk over that coal, nothing is going to happen. And indeed, everybody, every single individual is able to walk over that coal and don't burn their feet. Every individual is able to hit the tree and don't feel that you hit the tree. Takes me 1 hour, and I'll get you all hitting a tree without you feeling it. And I'm not a magician, I'm not nothing. Yeah, I'm just a very simple guy like you are, and that's all. Now that is very interesting about quantum mechanics. Since you see a number of things that we would like to label as magic, you know, or imagination, or fantasy. No. Quantum mechanics proves us that all these things are normal. Now, be aware, quantum mechanics, of course, does not marry very well with Newtonian physics. You have really two other views of the world. And the macro view, which is a Newtonian view, and the micro view, the small view, which is a quantum view. Go back to the logic of this course. I said you numbers of times, over the last century, a number of discoveries, starting with Gödel's theorem, that in 31 proved that we would never find an absolute axiomatic system that was able to prove everything. That's a shock. Then came relativity theory, in the beginning around the same time. Relativity theory that said that no observation was absolute, but all observation was relative to time. Then we got quantum mechanics that basically said observation is interpretation. There is nothing you interpret, you observe, and while interpreting, you are creating your own reality. Okay? And now last, what we've dealt with 1 or 2 sessions, as we know, is complexity theory that fundamentally causes simple causality. So what scientific discovery has brought us over the 20th century, which by now is the previous century, is nothing more than showing us hard and from different sides that causality from cause to effect does not work in physics. If it doesn't work in physics, why would it work in business? And that's my simple question. Now, once we have accepted holism, once we have accepted complexity, and I hope by now at least you've seen it makes some sense, you cannot avoid a very fundamental question that, amongst others, Wolfgang Pauli was yet another grandfather of quantum mechanics, right? It's one of the big names in quantum mechanics. He said, if we accept that causality don't exist, what quantum mechanics shows us, but if we accept that causality doesn't exist, then there has to exist something which Pauli called complementary physics. So, Pauli calls that complementary physics, and essential in complementary physics, according to Pauli, is the phenomena of synchronicity, what I just mentioned too. Things occur together in time. My two photons, I take them apart, I act on one photon, immediately and without a time delay, the other photon reacts. Why is that no time delay an issue? Since causality needs time. If you accept that something has a cause and effect on something else, then you need to give it time in order that your action has an impact. If you don't leave time, causality doesn't work. Causality essentially needs time. Synchronicity does not need time. The reaction is immediate and exactly at the same time. So, instead of talking about causal coherence, from cause to effect, we rather should talk about coincidence, but to be understood as occurring together in time, not coincidence as by chance. That's not coincidence. Coincidence understood as occurring together in time. Hence, Wolfgang Pauli says we talk about something like acausal links. There are still links. Everything is highly interrelated. Everything is highly interconnected. But those links are not causal. Right? They are just links. And that, in quantum mechanics, is the essence of a system. In other words, what does it mean, a quantum interpretation? A quantum interpretation actually means three characteristics. One, non-locality. We seem to interact with each other non-local, which means that if I want to call you, you know that I want to call you, and therefore you say, hey, I should call this guy, and on the moment you would call the guy called you. That is a typical example of non-locality. Secondly, synchronicity. Things occur together in time. Finally, all that is based on a characteristic which we call entanglement. And entanglement is the reason why synchronicity and non-locality works. What's entanglement? Now, I can make it very simple. If you live together with some female in one house, what do you see? That after a few months you all get your periods at the same moment. There's nothing biological behind that. It's an issue of entanglement. Of course it's true. That's the moment that men want to leave the house, I warn you, right? So, but it is a very entangled phenomena. It has nothing to do with biology. Right? It's not since you are four female in the same house that you would have any biological link with each other. Of course you don't. It is entanglement. It is the fact that you live